Hernan and I have brewed a bunch of beers together, and his specialties are the big, rich beers.
Today, we're brewing a Belgian quad.
We're gonna fake age it with oak.
When I started the Homebrew Challenge, Hernan thought we should get an early start on the Dopplebock so we could let it properly age before we tasted it on camera. The trouble was, we completely botched the brew.
Spilling accident.
And I was left with video footage that I couldn't use because we looked like clueless idiots.
Now the problem we got here is there is so little wort.
Since then, we've brewed another Dopplebock and an Eisbock, which is a Dopplebock that's concentrated through freezing, and both turned out great. But Hernan kept that failed Dopplebock around. It's 7 months old now. So how does a beer with a good amount of age on it compare to our younger brews?
So a bit of bonus content here. We've got 3 different strong German lagers that we wanted to try off or pair off against each other. So Hernan, what have we got?
This is like the first time we can do this.
So exciting! What have we got?
So we have Eisbock, successful Eisbock.
Yes.
In its own right, all the way. Then we have the 7-week Dopplebock.
7 weeks old, yep.
And then we have a 7 months Dopplebock.
Also known as the burn bock, right?
The burn bock.
Insert gruesome picture of your finger right here.
Yeah. So, we just tried the Eisbock, phenomenal. Last week we tried the Dopplebock. Pretty darn good.
We were happy, yep.
Now, you haven't tried this one in some time because I kidnapped the keg.
No, I've not tried this since we first brewed it. So
it's been aging.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see, what you think of the age Dopplebock versus the Eisbock.
If we look at these beers just visually before we get to the tasting, they look quite different.
Indeed. We have, well, it's to be expected. The Eisbock is pretty dark.
Yes.
There is no light at all going through it. The Dopplebock, and I think you can see it there, pretty, well, compared to the other ones, much lighter.
Yes.
There is some light getting through it. And the good old Dopplebock, the burned Dopplebock, I can't tell if there's any light getting through. I can see in your glass a little more reflection than on the
I think it's slightly lighter than the Eisbock, but not by much. All right, so let me remind myself, I think, what the 7-week Dopplebock tastes like first.
Cheers.
Prost. I do still like that beer. That's we keep describing this beer as liquid bread, and yeah, this is right on the money for that.
It's pretty good.
Okay, so
go to the old Dopplebock.
Right. So this is the 7-month-old Dopplebock.
You'll notice it's entirely different.
Oh, the aroma is so different. My goodness. Oh, it's so much more developed. I really like this. You've had this thing for 7 months, and I couldn't believe when I picked it up out of your truck that it was so heavy still.
Still pretty full, yeah.
But you've been drinking it, but just sipping it.
Yeah, just get in a small glass.
Yeah.
And not always drink it, but I just want to see how it is at a full year, and then year and a half.
Oh my god! And 2 years and a decade and.
Well, no, let's not push it. The aroma is phenomenal.
Oh, it really is.
Yeah.
Really. Okay. Oh, wow! It's almost like these are 2 completely different beer styles.
This one is phenomenal. Now you understand why I'm just sipping this.
It's a sipping beer. I think it will be interesting to now contrast that against the more condensed version of this beer, which is the Eisbock.
It's still pretty young, right?
This is super young.
So I wanted to give it a chance to develop all the flavor characteristics, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you can smell it. still
Smell, I
pretty-
went in for the taste already, yeah.
Pretty young.
No, it doesn't have the same complex aroma as this one. So, okay, so when we tasted this, we're like, holy crap, we've pulled it off. This is complex, this is thick, this is great, but it pales to the 7-month beer. I
This
think.
one is pretty strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, and granted there are different recipes.
Well, look, I mean, I think to summarize, all three have turned out in their own way very different, but they all are delicious.
They're all very good beers.
Yes.
And we have some interesting stories behind each of them.
That's right. That's right.
Especially this one.
Yep. Yep. And yeah, I think this is the motivation to try and age some of these more complex beers. I mean, if you take an IPA or something, you need to drink that fresh. But if you have a strong, high gravity beer like this, it really does change over time, right?
The profile is dramatic how much it changed. You cannot underestimate patience when they say you gotta age it, and it does change.
Yeah. Well, here's to aging a beer.